also it's a combination of things, and we're looking at this very carefully to sort of identify where there is distress in the market and where prices have come down the most. It's the age of the market there. It's also the length of ownership. So if you have a neighborhood where there are a lot of people that bought 5, 10, 15, 25 years ago, those markets have done an awful lot better than neighborhoods where you have a lot of the buyers and a lot of people who live there who've just bought during the past 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
So you just have less turnover. Less turnover means there's less distress, and so these older neighborhoods have done much better than the newer neighborhoods have.
And it's not necessarily because people with money prefer homes that are built during those eras?
Well, there may be an element of that. You know, these areas, the further back in time you go, the more towards the core part of the market you go. So you have an awful lot of areas that have been there for, you know, decades and decades. So, yeah, you've got a core part of the market. But no, it's basically length of ownership and age, or just those two combined are probably as big a factor as, you know, where in the price spectrum they are.
Yeah. People have talked a lot about the shadow inventory, and that there's a lot of kind of pent-up properties, in a sense. I mean, properties that are distressed. But you say that that's only half of the story, that the other half of the story is pent-up demand. What do you see in terms of pent-up demand?
Well, you know, and these are things we can actually measure. You know, real estate responds to the most basic of things in the market. You know, it responds to people dying, to people getting born, graduating from college, getting married, having kids, getting fired, dying. All of those things generate both demand and supply.
Yeah.
And right now we have not only a large amount of so-called shadow inventory out there, we have an awful lot of shadow demand out there. There are an awful lot of people out there that really would like to buy a home somewhere, or they're still living at home with their parents. Or just there's an awful lot of pent-up demand out there right now that just hasn't happened since basically the fall of 2007.
And so what does this mean? Does this mean that I mean, when is that demand going to be expressed? When are these people going to start buying houses?
Well, we think it's actually going to start to kick in this year. It'll depend upon two things. You know, the one thing obviously being the slowly, incrementally, baby step, slowly recovering economy. But it'll also really depend upon the availability of mortgage money. Right now, mortgage money is still very tight. Once that starts to loosen up and those who are in the traditional home buyer categories can get financing, then we think that there's going to be a tsunami of people entering the market out there.
A tsunami. I mean, so the tsunami. I mean, last year home buying was down from the previous year. Do you think this year it's going to be up?
I think this year it'll be up compared to 2010. The tsunami part of it there will be probably right around 3 or 4 months after that opening of the mortgage market. And we'll know that by looking at various technical factors there that have to do with loan-to-value ratios and the usage of ARMs and things like that.
You were talking about you know, kids living at home because they can't buy a house. Divorced couples are still living together?
Oh yeah, no,
that's part of the
seeing,
pent-up demand?
Yeah, no, we're seeing, you know, because prices have come down and there was so much 85, 90, 95% financing going on back in 2006, 2007, there are just an awful lot of people that would really like to sell, but they would have to bring money to the table to sell. And they're just not able to do that. They either can't or won't. And so there's just an awful lot of lockdown in the demand part of the equation out there right now. But that will loosen up once mortgage credit becomes more available and once the economy starts to pick up a little.